that I come from a little village between Rochdale and Burnley, right on the Pennines. Right in the chops there. You can't get any higher up on the Pennines than where I come from. A little village. My mother was a simple woman, my father was a simple man, and I'm a simpleton. Well, in that little village now, where it is, you see, that village, that was Rochdale, you see, just on the tops of Rochdale. Well, everybody nearly worked in a cotton mill in them days, didn't they? And you know, I mean, they had them calico knickers. Now, there's one thing about calico knickers that I'm going to tell you. They'll just come down the same as silk ones will. There's no difference in price with them things. Anyway, the thing is, in that little village we had a fella. Now, he was one of them guys, he worked in a cotton mill in Rochdale, and he was past retiring age, but he liked his job, so he kept on working. But he did get a bit weary sometimes. He's laid in bed one night, he's just nodding off. He's just nodding off. She said, "I say, you." He said, "What do you want? I've had a hard day, I'm down at mill." She said, "You know, when you were 25, you always used to hold me hand at night and give it a bit of a squeeze." Well, he said, "If that's all you want, do you?" He's just going again, he's just nodding off. "I said, you." He said, "What's up with you now?" She said, "When you were 25, you always used to kiss me goodnight, you before doing it." "Oh," he said, "here." Leans over and gives her a bit of a peck on the cheek. He's into twilight zone. You know what it's like, lads? He's just drifting away. "I said," "Oh," he said, "what do you want now?" She said, "When you were 25, you always used to bite me neck." He jumped up and got out of bed. She said, "Where the hell are you going?" He said, "To get me teeth." He come home from work night after. She's in middle of front room with no tongue. No tongue, she just looked like she needed ironing. He said, "What are you doing in front room? You've no tongue, you have to stitch on." She said, "I'm getting you going, I'm turning you on." He said, "Well, you've something between your bust you didn't have when you were 25. She said, "What's that?" He said, "Your belly button." I'm going to take you back to the 60s. Now, the 60s, a great time in the 60s. Now, the 60s, as you will remember, folks, in the 60s, condoms were called French letters. And they were as thick as car tyres. And if you were hard up, you only needed to buy one. Were you one of them that rolled them up in blinking talcum powder? You were? Well, there were a fella in our village in the 60s, and I'll tell you something else about the 60s that a lot of people, girls, bouffant hairdo. Hey, backcombed, sprayed, set like a pan scrub. If you rub your head outside at bus, it used to take all paint off, do you remember? And they had them little skirts. Do you remember them tight skirts when they used to run for the bus? "Get on, come on, I haven't all day, get on." "We on the seat" skirts, they were called. Did you ever do that? Stand on each side like that? No? God, my wife used to do it all the time. Used to be a thrill of the week. No, but there's a fella in our village and in the 60s, and the blokes used to have brill cream on. You had to have that, and marvellous stuff, brill cream. You remember? It used to smell lovely for 2 minutes. And then it smelled like back axle of a tractor when your head got there. But the greatest thing that ever come out in the 60s, Old Spice. Remember that? If a woman got a whiff of that, the niggers were halfway down. You were on a winner. You were on a winner, Old Spice. Well, there were a fella in our village, and he had 3 of the most beautiful girls you've ever seen. Every one of these girls was a lovely girl. Now, I'm talking in the 60s. He's sat in the chair one Saturday night, he's watching Michael Miles take a pic. A knock comes to the door, a young lad stood there. He's got brill cream, Old Spice and a fancy jacket. He said, "Hello, my name's Joe, I've come for your floor, I want to take a to show, can't you go?" He said, "Well, I suppose so, being as though you put it like that." He just gets sat in chair again, he hasn't been in chair 2 minutes. Another knock at door. Another young lad stood there, Brill Green Old Spice, fancy jacket. He said, hello, my name's Andy, I've come for your Mandy, I want to take her to the pub and buy her a brandy. Well, he said, I don't know what's going on, but you can do. By God, he ain't got a pot of tea to his lips, and there's another knock at door. He opens the door, another young lad stood there. He said, hello, my name's Chucker. He said, you can do that. Well, this fella goes to doctors. This fella goes to doctors. He's got a blinding headache. He said, I can't stand this any longer. He said, and my eyes, they're shutting. He said, he said, it's terrible, doctor. Oh, he said, it's an unusual headache, is that? He said, he said, it's night and day. He said, I can't stand it. He said, well, we'll have to do a few tests on you, he said. So they do. When he comes back for results, he said, we know what it is. He said, well, what is it, doctor? He said, it's your testicles. He said, what? He said, well, what's happening? He said, you've got some quite big ones. He said, and they're pressing on a nerve at the base of your spine, and it's trapping it, and it's giving you headaches. Oh, he said, I'll say it is, I can't stand it. He said, well, the only thing we can do is to take them off. He said, what, remove the old? He said, that's the only thing we can do. Oh, well, he said, you'll have to do it, I can't stand this. Anyway, he goes in, he has the operation. When he comes out, he's got better, he's walking down the road, he feels $1 million. He's never felt like that. Oh, the headache's gone, the birds are singing, I feel great. Yee, great. He thinks, I'll buy a new suit. Get myself smartened up. Little Jewish tailor shop, he goes in. He said, I feel great, I want a new suit. He said, you want a new suit? He said, do you know who you've come to? I'm in. He said, I'm in? He said, I'm 72 years now. He said, all my life since my bar mitzvah, he said, I make suits. He said, can I make you a suit? He said, I can make you the greatest suit. He said, let me tell you what I know. He said, you're 42 chest. He said, I am, I'm in. He said, let me look. He said, you're 36 waist with a 29 inside leg. He said, I am, I'm in. He said, you get a new suit? He said, you want a new shirt? He said, let me look at you, boy. He said, you're 16 and a half going. He said, I am, I'm in. He said, you get a new shirt, you get a new suit. He said, you want some nice underwear. He said, you want some nice slack-fitting boxy shorts. He said, I don't usually wear them, Arnie. He said, I usually wear them tight-fitting Y-fronts. Don't wear them. They give you pushing your balls up, he said, on the nerve, and you get a blinding headache. There's two women talking in pub. Are you all right up there? You're all right. Yeah. I can't help turning my back to you. I'm sorry about that, you know. There's two women talking in pub. One says to the other, I'm sick to the back teeth of him. He's driving me up the wall. I can't stand living with him. I'm nervous wreck. Oh, look at me. Oh, she said, you're in a state. She said, I know I am. I'm always like this. I'm worked up with him. Oh. She said, calm down, don't be like that. What's he doing to make you like that? She said, well, he'll sit in a chair with a can of beer watching telly. If he's not doing that, he's going down to the club with lads. And if he's not doing that, he's in bookies putting money on horses. Grass is that high in garden. Cupboard doors hanging off the kitchen and the big lazy pig walking out about it. Oh, she said, don't let him get you like that. She said, my husband was just same, but I cured him. She said, well, what did you do to stop him being like that? So, well, I made him his favourite tea, something he really liked. Then I gave him 25 quid to go to the club with. But when he come back, I'd all my makeup on. I were in a see-through baby doll nightie. And I were in a sexy pose on settee as he come through the door. She said, did it work? She said, he were eating out of my hand after. Right, she said, you know what I'm going to do with him? He's getting the same treatment. She made him his favourite tea, steak and kidney pie, chips and peas, rice pudding with skin on top. She gave him 25 quid to go to club with. When he comes back, she's in a pink see-through baby doll nightie with all lace round. She's this makeup on, it's immaculate. She's on the settee, showing a lily white thigh with 2 varicose veins. He said, that's a bit of all right. She thought, it's working. He said, you look fantastic, rigged up like that. He said, don't waste your time on that settee, get up these stairs. She thought, he's on the boil, I haven't seen him like this for years. He said, no, you aren't half dolled up. He said, you look great. He said, I want you to do something special for me. She said, I'll do anything you want. What do you want me to do? He said, I want you to take your baby doll nightie off, and I want you to do an handstand up to that big mirror on wardrobe door. She said, well, I said, I'll do anything. She takes baby doll nightie off, and stand up to a big mirror. He got his head between her legs. She said, what are you doing? He said, I was thinking of growing a beard. I just wanted to do it. I'm just getting it right. And it's funny thing, you know, in this little, I always talk about my little village, you know. Have you ever had them salesmen come to the door that won't take no for an answer? Now, right on the tops where I come from, we had foot and mouth, big SE, fowl pest and swine fever. And some animals had it as well. And one of these fancy blinking salesmen knocks on the door. He said, good morning, madam. She said, good morning. He said, I'm selling vacuum cleaners. She said, I'm sorry, lad, you won't sell a vacuum cleaner up here with no money for vacuum cleaners, foot and mouth and everything. He said, missus, you see this vacuum cleaner here? He said, it's one of the greatest machines you'll ever see. He said, can I just come in and whip it over your carpet? She said, I've just told you, wasting your time, I've no money for a vacuum cleaner. He said, madam, I insist on demonstrating this vacuum cleaner. He ran out into the farmyard, he got a shovel full of horse muck, that red hot stuff that's steaming, and he threw it all over a carpet. Now he said, missus, if this vacuum cleaner doesn't pick every bit of that up, I'll eat what's left. She said, well, I hope you're hungry, because we had our electric cut off this morning. You won't think this, would you, but in that little village on the tops there, hey, now, and we had an hardware shop. I'll tell you about village all night, because there were some characters in there. We had a blinking artist, one of them painters. Oh, he were good, you know, better than these paintings. Oh, he was marvellous. This woman said to him, can you paint me in the nude? He said, yes, but I'll have to keep my socks on, so I said, well, to put me and we had all sorts of sportsmen. With one lad, he were a boxer. Hey, oh, what? You see him training? He weren't very good. He got knocked down that many times, he had a cauliflower arse. Then there were one fellow, he were mad on golf. Oh, we were mad on golf. He were a fanatic. Anyway, his wife said to him, I'm fed up with you playing golf all the time. She said, I'm getting sick of it. She said, I'm going to join golf club. Anyway, she joins golf club. Well, the worst thing that can happen to any man. She joins the golf club and she becomes a better player than him. God, he was sick as a chip every time they went out there. But every time they played off tee, she used to put tee a bit further in front, a bit. He said, you're a foot in front. She said, you can call me what you want, I'm still beating you by 2 strokes. She went in the clubhouse, he said, I've got a problem. I said, what is it? He said, the wife, she's been stung by a wasp. He said, where has she been stung? He said, between the first and second hole. He said, there's not much room for a bandage, is there? You wouldn't think this though, but on Chops where I come from. Oh, anyway, I was telling you, around my little village, we had one of them hardware shops that were a bit like Arkwright's open all hours. He always reminded me of Arkwright because he used to wear one of them brown smocks. He said to the lad, he said, now lad, I'm going to retire in a few weeks, he said, and I'm going to leave you my shop. He said, I want you to be able to make a living out of it like I have done, so I'm going to show you a few tricks of trade. He said, now when somebody comes through the door of that shop to buy something, don't just sell them what they want, sell them something else as well. He said, I'm going to give you a demonstration. This fella come in, he said, can I have a packet of lawn seed? He said, you certainly can, sir, with some very fast-growing lawn seed, and you'll need a lawnmower. He said, I haven't laid lawn yet, what are you talking about? I need a lawnmower. He said, listen, this seed's that fast-growing, it'll only be a week or two, you'll need a lawnmower. He said, I've got one on offer here now, 68 quid. Oh, I said, go on then, I'll have a lawnmower. He said to the lad, now, did you see that? He come through that door for a £3 packet of seed and I sold him a £68 lawnmower. He said, you have a go at next customer. This fella comes through the door, he says to the lad, can I have a packet of Tampax? He said, you certainly can, sir, and you'll need a lawnmower. He said, what do I want a blinking lawnmower for? He said, well, you've no else to do all week, you might as well cut grass. Doctor and nurse are going down ward. Doctor and nurse are going down ward. Monday morning, he's got his clipboard. They get to this bed, there's a fella in bed, he's got oxygen mask on. Just as they get to bed, this fella says, he said, nurse, that patient just said something. He said, see what he said? She said, did he say something then? Oh, she said, I think he wants to know if his testicles are black, doctor. Oh, she said, nurse, just pull the bedclothes back and see, examine the patient. I like this bit. You don't want to take over from me? She said, I can't tell, doctor, you know, the lighting here is not that great. Nurse, let me see those testicles. You're right, it is rather difficult. Wait a minute, the cleaner's going past. Put your bucket down, love, come over here. Do you think this patient's testicles are black? I'm not sure. He took the mask off, he said, I didn't say my testicles black, I said, have my test results back. You wouldn't think this though, would you? You wouldn't think this, right, but on the Chops where I come from, right on the Chops, little village, we had a prostitute. We only had one, oh God. We only had one, but trade weren't so good for girl, so she put a special offer on. And I don't mean 2 for 1. She put a special offer on. She had 2 tattoos put on inside of her thighs. One were Osama bin Laden, and other were George Bush. And if they could guess who they were, they got a 20% discount. Well, she hadn't had these tattoos on long, but who comes in but an Arab? She said, I never expected an Arab on the Pennines. He said, I'm visiting family in Bradford. She said, look, 20% if you can recognise him. Well, he said, I knew that is, it's Osama bin Laden. He said, but I don't know who that fella is in the suit. He said, I can't think who he is. She said, I'm sorry, you haven't done it, you'll have to pay full price. Later on, one of these American GIs coming from that big American base at Harrogate, Menworth Hill. She said, there's 20% off if you can recognise him. 20%, ma'am? I know who that is. That is George W. Bush, President of the United States. But I ain't got a clue that Arab is. She said, full price. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, a Lancashire pig farmer come in. She said, there's 20% off if you can recognise them. 20%'s a lot of money, I better have a look at this. Ooh, say they there. Aye. Well, young man there, him, in suit, I've seen him on telly, he's always coming out of helicopters and swaggering about. T'other fella, him, that Arab, he's always coming out of a cave. But I can't think who they are, but young man in the middle with big lips and long hair, that's Mick Jagger. We had a little school, you know, one of them nice little schools. You know them village schools, weren't they nice? You know, 4 teachers, 4 little classrooms, you know. And you didn't have sex lessons. I mean, you learned how to do it back at her age shelter, didn't you? She were a bit thick, first girl I ever had, you know. I put my hand up a jumper, she never said out. I thought, that's all right. I put my hand up a skirt, she never said out. I thought, that's all right. She said, if you're looking for me toffees, they're in my handbag. Hey, no, it were though, you know, I mean, they get this sex education, don't they? I mean, today, now, you just think about it, they get this sex education. Now, the youngest girl of ours, when she were at school, she come home, she said to my wife, she said, Mum, she said, we've had a funny day at school today. She said, we've had a sex lesson. She said, have you, love? She said, yes. What's that big lump of fat at the end of a penis? She said, that's your father. And they do this speed dating, you know, in one of the hotels on Ireland. Now, let me tell you how they do it. Now, it's the daftest, it's one of them singles nights, but they do this speed dating, daftest thing you've ever seen. They sit all women round on seats outside, and they put a buffet in front of every woman. And the fellas, they get 3 minutes to give them the patter, and then they have to ring a bell and they move up a buffet. Well, you know, you can hear conversation. Well, I like horse riding, I like holidays, I like walks, and I like 2 little dogs that I stroke every day. Well, I like going down to the pub with lads, playing dominoes, breaking wind, and usually have a bit of a stagger on, you know, well, move up a buffet. Anyway, there was one lad there, he said, there's a woman down there I fancy. He said, when I get to her, he said, I'm going to tell her exactly what I want. He moves up a buffet, he moves up another buffet, he gets to this woman. He said, I'll tell you what, love, I'd like to get inside your knickers. She said, what for? There's already one arsehole in there. Anyway, we had a grocer's. Let me get back to the village a minute now. We had a grocer's shop. Now this grocer had an affair with this girl. She had a little boy. Don't worry about music. I'm going to put some on in the second half of the show. You can dance all night, and you know. She had a little lad, and he wouldn't marry her. He said, well, I don't want to marry her, but what I'll do, I'll give you free groceries every week, all your cleaning materials, and everything you need to run that house until that little lad's 16-year-old. And he never once let her down. Every week the delivery boy used to come up garden path with 2 boxes, one with all food, one with all cleaning stuff. Year in, never missed. One day this lad comes in shop himself. He said, can I have a packet of fags? He said, you what? He said, a packet of fags. He said, how old are you now? He said, I'm 16, I was 16 last Thursday. He said, will you get back to your mother and tell her there's no more free groceries, and when you tell her, just watch the expression on her face. He said, Mummy, my grocer's shop said there's no more free groceries, and I've got to watch the expression on your face. She said, go back and tell him he's not your father and watch expression on his face. This fella goes in grocer's shop. Hey, you know, at butchers, this fella, he had a belting butchers, you know. Mind you, he were having an affair with wife, I think, because somebody told me, he said, your wife's knocking about with that butcher. Because I said to her, when she went shopping, I said, anything happened today, love? She said, yes, the butcher's put his meat up. I thought, No. And this fella goes in butcher. Be careful, girls, now you're naughty. You'll be going to chapel when you get back. We had, this fella goes in butchers. He said, now, I want a big thick steak. He said, I want it that thick. He said, I want a right juicy steak. It's my birthday. He said, how old are you? He said, I'm 70 today. He said, you are not 70, you're not a day over 55, he said. Hey, he said, you tell me how old I am. I'm 70 today, don't be telling me I'm not 70 when I'm 70. He said, well, you don't look it. He said, you're the most amazing man I've ever seen for 70. He said, well, I'm 70. He said, well, I'll tell you what. He said, if you're 70, there's a big thick steak. He said, it's juiciest I've got in shop. He said, you can have that on your birthday. He said, for me, go on. He said, have it on me. He thought, that's a good do. I'll go in Baker's. So he goes in Baker's. He said, can I have 2 fresh loaves and a big cake? It's my birthday. He said, how old are you? He said, I'm 70 today. He said, never in this world of God. He said, you're not. He said, I'm going to tell you what I've told him up that road. I'm 70. Give over telling me I'm not 70 when I'm 70. He said, well, you don't look it, mate. He said, you look absolutely fantastic for that. He said, you're amazing. He said, I'll tell you what, look, here's 2 mother's prides and there's a big cake. He said, it's a proper birthday cake. You can have that on me for your birthday. He's been in every shop in village. When he's going home, he's in bus shelter. He's got 2 carrier bags full to the top, one in each hand. There's an old girl in bus shelter. He said to her, hey, missus, have a guess how old I am? She said, I can tell you how old you are. He said, you can't. He said, nobody else can. He said, they think I'm amazing. She pulled his zip down. You're 70. He said, I didn't think you could tell how old I was by doing that. She said, I can't, I was stood behind you at butchers. There were a lad in our village. And he weren't gay or anything like that, but what it was, when he was younger, he had difficulty parroting to women, tapping them up. He couldn't give them the patter, you know. And he got into his 40s, he was still living with his mother. And he was feeling a bit frisky, a bit frustrated. Have you ever been frustrated? Well, he went to Rochdale, he went in the White Lion at top of Yorkshire Street in them days. It were a notorious pub. There's a woman at end at bar, she had a face like a bulldog chewing hot horse shit. So he had 2 pints and she looked a bit better. So he had another 6. He said, you were a good-looking girl. She said, you've been drinking. No, he said, it's not that. He said, I'm feeling, he said, I aren't half feeling. Oh, she said, no problem. She said, you've come to the right place, lad. I'm a lady of the trade. It'll cost you £40. He said, well, I'm desperate. I'll have to have a go. They go outside. When they come back, he said, that were a good do, that were. Ye were a cracker, that. He said, I didn't know you were a virgin. I'd have give you £50. She said, I didn't know you'd £50. I'd have took me tights off. This fella comes in pub with this dog. Hey, you want to try it with him on? It makes a change. This fella comes in pub with this dog. This woman says, what a lovely dog. Oh, yeah, he said, it's a bonny dog, he said, but it's clever. It's an acting dog. She said, are you an acting dog? He said, it's in films and adverts. You're in films and adverts. He said, I'm just teaching it a new part now. He said, you can help me if you want. Oh, would you like me to help you learn your new part? He said, what do I have to do? He said, well, the scene's in the dark and we've got to make it authentic. You'll have to come outside. We're going outside to make it authentic. She said, what do I do now? He said, you bend over bonnet to that car and take your pants down. She said, don't be silly. He said, you want to help this dog learn it? I'm going to bend over bonnet to the car and take my pants down. She does do, he says to the dog, now sit there and watch careful, because I'm only going to show you how to do this once. Mind you, I were in pub one night. Mind you, I were in pub one night, and there were a girl in there I used to knock about with when I was younger, you know, and I said, how are you, love? She said, oh, I'm all right. I said, you look a bit down in dumps. I said, I'm feeling a bit. Oh, she said, I am. I said, are you? I said, let's go and have a go. She said, I'm not doing it in that pub backyard. She said, you'll have to get over the other side of the wall. I said, well, it's all right, we'll do that. I said, come on, out the back door. When we got out there, she said, I'll tell you what, I didn't think that wall were as high as that. I said, stand on this. She said, how are we going to get back? I said, I haven't done this for a few weeks. I've been away in the VD hospital. She said, what's the food like? I'm going in next week. But I was telling you about our little school, weren't I? You know, I keep coming back to things, me. Our little school, we had 4 classrooms. I always remember, though, talking about school. I was coming down the road one day and I heard, and it's a typical thing, girls, you've all had it, this. I heard this voice say, come on, John, get up for school. I'm not going. Get out of bed and get up for school. I'm not going to school. John, get up and get down these stairs, get your cornflakes and get to school. Well, give me 3 good reasons, 2 good reasons why I should go to school. Well, she said, 1, you're 45-year-old, and 2, you're headmaster. But we had, I was telling you about our little school. We had that village school, you know. And we had 4 classrooms and 4 teachers, just little village school, you know. But we got this fancy teacher from Suffolk. I said to my dad, we're getting a right fancy teacher now. She comes from Suffolk. She said, children, tomorrow I want you to recite a poem. I said to my dad, that fancy teacher wants us to recite a poem. He said, I'm ill farm, I don't know nothing about poems, lad. I said, well, she's always picking on me. I said, can't you think of one, Dad? He said, well, I might know one, lad. Anyway, he brought it to mind, and when I got to school that morning, she said, Peter, could I have your poem? I said, yes, miss. I wandered lonely as a cloud over hills and streams and banks, and then I trod on a man's bare arse and the young girl shouted thanks. Beautiful. She said, children, this afternoon I want you to bring something medical. So all kids turn up with a bit of something. She said, Rosie, what's that you brought? She said, it's a plaster, miss. She said, Rosie, tell the class what you do with it. She said, well, if I'm running around in the playground and I trip up and I cut my knee, if I put this plaster on, it'll keep all germs out and my knee will get better. Oh, she said, that's very good. Frankie, what have you brought? It's a crepe bandage, miss. Tell the class what you do with it, Frankie. Well, if I play football at Crook goal, and he said, wrap this round and I dip it in water, my ankle will get better. Very good, Frankie. There are a right scruffy little bastard in our classroom called Albert Smith. He come in dragging an iron lung. She said, my God, what's that, Albert? He said, it's an iron lung, miss. She said, where did you get that? He said, I got it off my granddad. She said, what did your granddad say? I don't know whether you know this or not, but now Prince Philip, he's visiting this mental home. He's visiting this mental home. What do you mean they should have kept him bloody in? He's visiting this mental home, and there's a bloke there, and he's carving a sideboard. And he didn't half a work about this sideboard, all this fancy wood. And he's got this little chisel. He said, have you carved that sideboard? He said, yes, your Royal Highness. Well, he said, I'll tell you what, my man. He said, we've got some fancy stuff in Windsor Castle. He said, but we haven't got anything as good as that. He said, that is absolutely brilliant, he said that. And he said, anyway, any man who can make something like that shouldn't be an institute like this. No, I said, your Royal Highness, I know that. He said, I got better a long time ago. He said, but I get 3 meals a day. He said, a nice warm bed. And he said, I can do me carving and nobody bothers me. He said, I'm so happy. Oh no, he said, you shouldn't be wasting your life away like that, a man with your talent. Well, he said, you see, Your Royal Highness, he said, there's some bad click cases in here. He said, take that fella over there. And there's a bloke hanging from the ceiling upside down with his boots. He said, he thinks he's a light bulb. He said, poor man, can't somebody cut him down? He said, don't be so bloody daft, I won't be able to see what I was carving. Now, a lot of people don't know this. I'll just tell you 1 or 2 things now, folks. So don't worry about the music. Like I said, we're going to have plenty of dancing when we've done this little video. Nelson Mandela and Her Majesty the Queen, they can't stand the sight of each other. This is from behind the scenes, you know. David Dimbleby told me. But when he came to England on his state visit, he's going through London in one of the big cars. He said, Your Majesty? She said, what? Because she talks in a Lancashire accent when she's talking to Nelson. He said, I think that England's the arsehole of Europe. She said, that's why you were passing through it. She said, Philip, come here, Philip. Listen, Philip, I'm not taking Mandela to any fancy do's. He's not going with me, and he's not sitting at the side of me at a banquet. I can't stand him, and he's not coming anywhere near me. Said Elizabeth, Mr. Mandela is on a state visit. You're going to have to take him somewhere. She said, I'm going to take him to that agricultural show at Harrogate. We'll drag him round all day. He'll be knacking at tea time. He'll want to go to bed, never mind a blinking banquet. They go to Harrogate show, they're going round all day. When they get over big shire horses, Philip says, Elizabeth, my love. The slimy bastard, oh yeah. Elizabeth, my love, I know a lot about horses, playing polo and what have you, you know. And that big Suffolk punch in the middle there, any minute now, is going to break wind. She said, do you think so, Philip? Its tail goes up, it lets one go. She said, my God, Charles, flap your ears, see if you can get rid of that. She said, I can't apologise enough for that filthy incident, Mr. Mandela. He said, it's all right, Your Majesty, I thought it was one of horses. Hey, have you ever heard of a place called Oswaldtwistle? Yes. You know Oswaldtwistle, don't you? Well, Prince Charles had to give a speech to the Animal Rights Association annual dinner at Oswaldtwistle. Well, there's 250 animal rights fanatics in the village hall. Charlie turns up. with a Davy Crockett hat on. Well, you don't wear a fur hat in front of your Animal Rights Association. And I mean, this is an ordinary, plain, straightforward Davy Crockett. Charlie's Crockett, it had a fox head up front. It had that lovely red fur. It had a big bushy tail with a white tip on. And he gave a speech for 3/4 of an hour, and when he'd finished, it were absolute silence. He said, you know, I thought I'd give rather a good speech. He said, your speech, Your Royal Highness, were fantastic. He said, but you're retired. He said, fancy wearing a Davy Crockett hat. He said, Animal Rights Association annual dinner. He said, it's not only a Davy Crockett hat, it's Fox of the English countryside. These people are most offended, Your Royal Highness. He said, that was my mother's idea. He said, what, Her Majesty the Queen? He said, yes, I rang her up. I said, Mother, I've got to give a speech to the Animal Rights Association annual dinner at Osseltwistle. She said, Osseltwistle, where the fox at? I hope you're going to have a nice night tonight. We're just warming up. People are coming in and we're really... You know, I mean, what's the difference between a woman coming out of church and a woman coming out of a bubble bath? Well, the woman coming out of church has hope in her soul. Just a bit lower down from where I lived, right on the Pennines in this village, there were a little row of cottages, and there was something like them on Last of the Summer Wine. Do you remember those little cottages that were, you know what I mean? And there were an Irishman lived in these cottages, and this Irishman, he had 14 kids. When the last child was born, he got a letter off the Pope. His mate said he should have got one off chemist. And he used to come home. He used to put his feet upon the mantelpiece. They had one of them tile fireplaces. He used to put his feet upon the mantelpiece. And he used to look at this picture over top of the mantelpiece of all these 14 kids. And she used to bring him a pot of tea, and he used to sit there after he'd had a hard day's toil on the building site and look at this picture. One day, the sun's shining a bit bright and she'd drawn curtains. There's just a kink of light in his picture. Oh, he said, Mary, come here a minute now. Archie said, what is it, buddy? He said, what is it? He said that the sun's it in the picture. I've never noticed before, but our Bridie, the fourth little girl down, she looks a bit different than the rest of them. And now I look at that little girl, she looks a lot different than the rest of them. I want to know, has that child got a different father? Oh no, she said, I'll never tell you a lie, Paddy, she has. He said, she has, who is it? She says, it's you. Huh? You get that in a minute, yeah? And the thing is about this place, you know, the Isle of Wight folks, the thing is about this place, the Isle of Wight, is that if you do need medical care, the doctors here are absolutely fantastic. They know everything. There's a bloke in Shanklin here, he's a fantastic doctor, I don't know, he's a plastic surgeon. He can put an handle on a plastic bucket this way. As a matter of fact, there were an Irishman lived here, and he lent this fella, he lent his mate £3,500 to have plastic surgery on his face. He can't get his money back now because he don't know what he looks like. But anyway, no, and this doctor here, he knows everything. A fellow went to him last week and he said, Doctor, can you get AIDS off a toilet seat? He said, yes, if you sit down before the other fella gets up. But you know, one thing about the north of England, we come down here from the north of England, and what we don't realise is how dangerous the sun is. It's very, very dangerous is the sun. I mean, there's people, you know, they get burnt and they get going. And I mean, Shanklin, you know, it's the sunniest part of the British Isles. Well, last year we had a coach from Yorkshire, And this fella, he sat out on that front there, he'd 5 or 6 pints, and he fell asleep in the sun. Deadly thing to do. But fortunately, he had one of them sombreros on. And he kept all the sun off his head and shoulders, but his legs were a mess. Oh, they were red. He went to this doctor in Shanklin, he said, you silly man, he said, you're from north of England, he said, and you've been sat in sun. He said, I fell asleep, doctor, Oh, he said, they are a mess, them. He said, anyway, take these 2 pills before you go to bed. He said, what are they, doctor? He said, the Viagra. He said, does it cure sunburn? He said, no, it'll help keep blinking sheets off it while it gets better. It ain't no, they've used it for all sorts of things. This other fella goes to the doctor. He said, I'm in a bad way, doctor. He said, I'm a nervous wreck. He said, you're a nervous wreck. He said, what's up with you? He said, well, I'm not getting any sleep. He said, that's the trouble. He said, well, why aren't you sleeping? He said, sleep at end of bed and you'll soon drop off. He said, it's not that. He said, it's the wife. She's smoking in bed. He said, and she'll sit up. He said, well, 3 o'clock at morning with a fagging. He said, and she's going to set house afire, I know she is. I don't go to sleep till she does. He said, and it's 3 o'clock at morning and I've an hard job, I'm not getting any sleep. Oh, he said, we'll have to put a stop to that. He said, take these 2 pills. He said, what are they, doctor? He said, the Viagra. He said, well, how's that going to stop her smoking in bed? He said, well, what you do, he said, when she puts a fag to her lips, he said, you whip the bedclothes back and show her a very impressive erection. He said, well, I'll try it, doctor. He gets his Viagra down him, he gets in bed. She just gets the park drive to her lips. He whips the bedclothes back, he said, what do you think of that? She said, it's just what I need, something to strike me matches up. No. I used to go along, hey, don't you be striking matches tonight. She's got a bloody box out already, bigger than Swan Vesta. No, where I come from, I don't know whether you people go fishing or not, but where I come from, the only place you can go fishing is the Rochdale Canal. If you don't, you used to see Fred Divner coming down Flashes sometimes, but the Rochdale Canal. Now, I used to know this cherry, and he were fishing mad, he were a fanatic on fishing. And if I went on canal on Sunday dinner time, I'd always see him there. And he had one of them lovely styles about him. It's pissing down with rain. Canals full of old bikes, washing machines and French letters. And he's... I said, good morning, Jerry. He said, good morning, lad. I said, I believe he got married 8 weeks ago. I said, is she a good-looking girl, Jerry? He said, she's a face like Ann Widdicombe chewing a wasp. I said, is she a good cook? Must be able to knock you a bit of good stuff up then. Well, he said the other day she was making a rabbit pie, and to get humpback rabbit to keep pastry up. Then she took her teeth out and made a fancy pattern and pie crust. I said, hellfire. I said, she must have a bubbling personality. He said, she is a nasty bastard. I said, well, what did you marry her for, Terry? He said, she's got worms. No, there were. Anyway, this Irishman's mate, he went to the doctor. Oh, now, I've come to see you today, doctor, because I've got a little problem. He said, now, me and the wife used to be great friends, laughing and joking. He said, but now, he said, we're falling out and bickering and rowing. It's terrible living at our house. He said, it's terrible. Ah, well, he said, I'll tell you the trouble, Paddy. You're a scruffy bastard. He said, you need a washing, a shave and an haircut, you stink like a polecat, you've got that dirty old donkey jacket on all the time. No woman wants a man like you. Your Mary's gone off you. He said, what you want to do? He said, get yourself washed and shaved, get an haircut. He said, get some of that Henry Cooper slapped all over you and get a fancy dressing gown and walk into the bedroom, and when your Mary's laid on bed, put your hand ever so gently on her tummy, make her feel so relaxed she's never felt like that for years, Paddy, and settle her down, croon her a tune. Oh, I'm going to do it. He said it'll be done. He went into that bedroom. He was smelling like a chemist's shop and shining like a new pin. He had all that Henry Cooper on him. He had a red dressing gown, Liberace style. He went over to that bed and he put his hand ever so gently on Mary's tummy. Well, he had to go like that to the beer belly. I'll take you home again, Kathleen. She said, that's lovely, Michael. A little bit lower. I'll take you home again, Kathleen. You see, now the thing is, well, I spent all my, well, years and years on the North of England club circuit, and in them days you used to do 3 clubs in a night. You used to just do an hour spot at one club and go along to another club and do another hour, and that's how it were, you see, because they did have singers on and they'd have guitar players. But in this situation I've got to do a bit of everything, you see. And it's only tonight really because you know, I'm doing the gags in quite a long spell tonight, but as I say later on, I'm going to get you up dancing, and I want to see you all doing them. I want to see them old bloomers when they get on the floor doing that. Oops outside your head. I like them quizzes. Do you like them quizzes? Yeah. You know, there were one last week. It said, where do women have the curliest hair? Africa. No, the thing is, you see, when I say doing the North of England clubs, I don't know how far to go with, but this fella died with an erection on. And he was a very big lad. Well, they couldn't get the coffin lid on. So they rung his wife up from the chapel arrest. They said, we've got a problem. She said, what is it? He said, well, he was a big lad and look how he's died. We can't get the coffin lid on. He said, what are we thinking of doing? He said, we're going to sever the penis at the base. And we're going to lead it discreetly by his side in the box. She said, that's much too subtle. I want you to hack it off and ram it up his arse. I said, are you sure, madam? She said, get it macheted off. They whip it off. And the corpse lunged forward. There's just a hint of a tear in his eye. She said, I told you it bloody hurts, didn't I? That's life. There's a fellow lived in Rochdale, and he was a fanatic on zoos, this fellow. He was a fanatic on zoos. He had a zoo, he lived in a council house, and he had a zoo in his back garden. He had a fox, he had a badger, he had a grass snake, 2 pigeons and a budgie. But every week he used to make his wife go to these big zoos, Whipsnade Zoo and all the Chester Zoo. She had to go every week to a big zoo. They get to the zoo, he said, hey, have a look at that over there. She said, what is it? He said, it's a lion, that's what it is. Oh, she said, you're getting on my nerves, you are. She said, every week you're dragging me round to these big zoos. She said, you've only got a council house and a little zoo. Be satisfied with your badger and your grass snake. She said, you can't have a lion. Stop looking at blinking big things like lions. He said, there's a tiger over there. She said, you're going bloody daft. She said, you can't have a lion and you can't have a tiger. And if you keep mithering me about big animals, anyway, she said, I'm not coming to these zoos anymore. So when they get over big skunks, they're in a pit. And she's throwing this skunk some bread. And he said, throw that skunk some bread a bit nearer. She said, what for? He said, I'm going to have it for my zoo. She said, don't be so daft. She said, you can't steal a skunk. He said, if I can have that skunk in my zoo, he said, I won't bring you any more at weekend. I'll be happy that I've got one proper animal. She said, well, how are you going to get it out of here? He said, well, when it comes close enough, I'm going to grab it and ram it down your knickers. She said, well, what if it starts to smell? He said, if I can stand it, skunk's not going to go away. But I mean, you know, it's a funny thing, but in the Isle of Wight, hey, now listen. There's people in that lounge there. They've come on a quiet holiday. They want peace. They don't want a noisy Lancastrian telling jokes or blinking playing guitars. They want to sit there and have a lovely, peaceful holiday. And don't you think they're entitled to it? Of course they are. Is there anybody constipated? Because of, who said yes? Right, anyway, the thing is, what I was going to say to you was that, I hope I've got a lot of time. Now, Paddy, Mary says, Paddy, he stood in front of the window with not a stitch on. She said, Paddy, come away from that window, the neighbours will think I married you for your money. He said, what are you talking about, Mary? I'm 15 stone of pure dynamite. She said, yes, with a 2-inch fuse. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed your night at the Shanklin Beach Hotel. And this is Clarke saying good night and thank you very much.